Hello everyone and welcome to the second day of the Dash. This is going to be a walkthrough of all 3 hours, and it is a meaty walkthrough. There is plenty to go over in this one, as you can probably see. But we'll go through it step by step. Hopefully we won't take too much of your time, but let's get right into it with hour number 1. The first hour of day 2 is going to deal with the XYZ hypothesis, but before that, we have an exercise here that basically gets into where in the world has your team been. These are optional exercises. You don't need to do them if you're pressed for time or if you want to get straight into the meat of the matter. It's totally up to you. But what this exercise does is it basically explores where each team member may have been that another team member has been. So common places that both of you have been. So you just start off with a general region of the world, kind of pinpoint a city, maybe even a town, and you'll start to see where different team members have kind of been in the same place. So nice little exercise that takes about 5 or 10 minutes. From there, you go straight into some of the artifacts that you created on day 1, which are the problem statement, the market engagement hypothesis, the value proposition, and so on, including the audiences and their buying power. Now, these are all for reference. Nothing that you have to kind of discard at the moment, but we will be leveraging these throughout the next few hours of this particular day. So after we conduct our market engagement hypothesis, we're going to go into an XYZ hypothesis. Now, if you're not sure what a market engagement hypothesis is, then you probably should go back to day 1 and kind of look there. I know it went over it quickly. I also have an article out about making, I would say, an hypothesis sandwich on the market engagement hypothesis. And generally, in a nutshell, it is how you would explain to someone else what you're thinking about in terms of your idea. Like for me, I'm having problems getting my son to pay attention in class. So I think if I offer him this particular benefit in the evening in exchange for his focused attention, he will probably change his behavior. That's like a general market engagement hypothesis, but if my son was the market. But in essence, the XYZ hypothesis is a distilled down version of your market engagement hypothesis. It basically goes into 3 dimensions. The percentage or number of the audience, which is Y, that you're going to be engaging, will do this particular thing once you, they'll do this particular thing, but they'll also give you a type of skin in the game. And then I add 2 particular dimensions to the XYZ, whereas they're going to receive something that you're creating. An idea, product, service, and when and where in this place or situation. So these are kind of optional, but they help really frame the engagement model you're thinking about when it comes to your idea. Now, right here, we have lanes for every single person on the team, and we have examples down here on the left, as well as a video by Alberto Savoia on how the XYZ hypothesis can be built. I will say that there is no right way of doing this. This is just your own perspective on the market engagement hypothesis you've created, what you think the audience in the market is going to react to your idea, and what they're going to give back to you in terms of skin in the game, meaning like monetary compensation, a letter of intent, email, phone number, something that basically is intentional commerce. And you'll put that thought in this line here. Everyone puts in their XYZ, gives them maybe a 30 to 45 seconds to explain it, walk through it. And then you hold a vote. You vote for one particular XYZ hypothesis, or you give 2 votes. Whoever is the top leader in the vote, you basically go ahead and copy and paste this entire phrase into just one text box here, and that'll constitute your XYZ hypothesis going forward. Then from there, you can narrow your audience and do something that Alberto Savoia says it's called hypozooming. And all hypozooming is just narrowing down what you originally thought the first time around. Again, another video that kind of explains how that works. But the 2 parts of your previous statement that you just created, you're going to be looking at the number of percentage in the target audience in terms of, is there someone in your network that is the perfect person to ask outside of the general audience that you defined? You want to reach out to these individuals and see if you can get their attention for about 30 minutes, especially if you want to engage them with your ideas very early. But this is a way of circumventing the idea that you have to search for your audience. When if you have someone in your personal and professional networks, you can basically go right straight to them and talk to them about this idea that you're posing in your XYZ hypothesis. The other dimension of this engagement hypothesis that you have up here is that you want to narrow it down to a place, either online or offline, where you can reach this target audience. Where are they going to go? So if you basically say like user forums, that's nice, but can you narrow it down to some people in the user forum specifically, like maybe something in their profile that would lend themselves to the challenge or to the hypothesis you have here. So narrowing both the type of audience you're going to be doing, the target audience you're going to be going after, and seeing if you have somebody in your network that can help you with that, as well as when and where you're going to engage them, would really help with your upcoming experiments. You don't need to do this, but it does really help in terms of getting specific on who you're going to engage and where you're going to engage them. So once you get done with hypozooming your XYZ hypothesis and it's a bit more succinct, hour number 1 is done. Let's go into hour number 2. So hour 2 starts off with an exercise in self-improvement, that's how you would level up. If you had a professional skill you could wish for, what would you have and what would you do with it? So this can be anything from being a better manager to having presentation skills, all the way to being a professional soccer player. But this is your chance to kind of add to your repertoire of abilities and then basically say, okay, how would your life change, or what would you be if you had these professional skills to leverage? So a nice little icebreaker for the hour goes right into the XYZ hypothesis that you just created and your LinkedIn team profiles. Now, why would we look at our team profiles here? What are we doing? What's the theme of this hour? Oh yeah, it's skill assessments and experiments. So we're kind of taking a look at each other's profile because we're going to get into a step that goes into the skills and abilities of your teammates. Now, the reason why we're doing this is because a lot of times in pretotypes or prototypes, the designer is ultimately responsible for what's being created, but all of the responsibility usually falls on them to get it done. With the dash, it basically looks at the every single team member and sees what they're good at, what skills and abilities allow them to do certain work, whether fast or slow, and make that part of the equation of how your pretotype is going to be built. So it's not just a bunch of people sitting on the sidelines and 2 or 3 people doing the work. This is an opportunity for everyone on the team to contribute in some meaningful way. So the way this works is you put your avatar on the left, your skills and abilities, your top 2 over here, and anything you want to learn. It's kind of nice to kind of surface the learning curves that you want to kind of, where you want to go professionally and where you want to learn about, or something new you want to add to this. But what you do with your skills and abilities you put here is you kind of use this matrix and figure out, okay, the y-axis is how good I am at this particular kind of work, but the x-axis is how long it takes you to do the work. So you're going to basically put your skill and ability you put here and start in the center and go, where is this? It's usually with this, like say if it's typing, I'm really, really good at it, and it doesn't take me long to do it. So I'm going to put short over here, but probably around here, somewhere around here. So this is going to be me. And I want to keep the color of my cards so that when this is looked at in general with all the color cards here, you can make a judgment call as to what people are sitting in this space that could be leveraged for the pretotype, that could basically do something in a short period of time, but really apply their experience and their skills. So once you have all of those in the square, this is just for reference. There's no voting involved, but it will influence what you're going to be doing in future exercises, such as step 2. And right there, the top team skills are over on the left-hand rail. You would go ahead and copy and paste those into this space. And you would take a look at all these different experiments you can choose from, all these pretotype experiments. Now, these have been kind of arranged, and it's funny because some of them now aren't even formatted correctly, which is weird. That's not supposed to happen. That's supposed to actually go out from there. Anyway, now all these ratings are drooping, but they're supposed to be dots that fall all the way across to the right. So there's basically 5 of them. And they're ordered from left to right in terms of the evidence that they give, meaning that if you do a sneak preview, there's going to be some setup time and runtime with this, but the evidence is like 4 green dots. That usually indicates that's going to give you some strong evidence if you decide as a team to do this discovery experiment. But again, it'll be a judgment call and some discussion. There are 10 discovery experiments and 8 validation experiments, All of these are doable, but all of them require a different skill set. And what you want to do is have a conversation with the team on which experiments are feasible for your team to do, which would be the most interesting to do, and kind of figure out which one you want to go forward with. Again, there is no right or wrong answer. It's just a matter of choosing something that you think would leverage the team's skills and abilities and give you some output, some feedback from the market on whether your idea is an engaging one. So you'll have to make that choice, kind of look at all of these and which way you want to go. And then once you do make your choice, you'll be ready for hour number 3. Hour number 3 gets into making your own comfort food. It's a step-by-step process. Basically, you think of a comfort food that you really love and that you know how to do. You put that image over here in the center and you explain what you basically do to make it. You can put the name of the comfort food right here next to your avatar. And it's a nice way of getting perspective on what each of your teammates can do and what they tend to reach for when it comes to comfort food. So it's always nice to know. And again, it's an optional exercise. You don't need to do it, but you can if you want to know more about your teammates. From there, we're going straight into the team review of all the stuff you've been doing to date. You have your market engagement hypothesis and the XYZ hypothesis in orange because I can put a little bit more emphasis on these coming up. And right when we do, we're going to go straight into the pretotype plan. Now, what this is a little involved. It looks a little involved, but it's fairly straightforward. You're going to put your skills and abilities again here, your experiment type, that's the type of experiment you chose, back up here. You can see the dots kind of depressed and hanging over. And then you're going to start building out your preparation tasks, things that you think you need to basically get prepared for your pretotype. All of the build tasks, all the things that need to be done to create whatever experiment you're doing. And again, this can be a group effort. Then the launch tasks, in terms of like what exactly you need to do to launch everything. Now, I encourage you to go for quantity over quality. Don't worry about getting the wording exactly right. But what you will be doing is holding a vote to figure out between preparation, build, and launch, which are the most important steps that you need to take, or the most important tasks that you need to do first and foremost when it comes to building the pretotype, so that you effectively prioritize the team's work as well as your own focus. So again, fill in the prep, the build, and the launch tasks in this space. They can be individual, like what each person is going to do, or it can be the whole team and just basically fill this area. Then hold a vote for the tasks that are the most important, and then be bringing those into step 2 over here. Now, the stuff to do will be the tasks that you created over here. You're going to be filling all this in with everything that's on this side. It's kind of a makeshift Kanban board. But then people basically select which particular tasks they're going to do and drag these over to their spot here. Once they're done, they bring them over to done. And what you'll see is a visual progression of the work in terms of what people are doing and what they're currently taking care of. Now, you won't be able to do more than one task at a time. You can just do one and keep your focus on only that one. And when you get done and move it to done, then you can consume something else in the stuff to do. But hopefully this will be an effective way of kind of moving the work along, making sure that everyone knows what everyone's working on. You can use a Kanban board template outside of Mural if you want. Totally up to you. But this is one way of kind of keeping the focus of the work with the pretotype plan and what you're planning on doing. Okay? So hopefully that was helpful. That is the entire day 2. It is a mouthful. If you have any questions about how to navigate this, or if you have any issues with it, do let me know. Send me an email or look me up on LinkedIn. Thanks a lot for watching. Take care, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.